Welcome everybody to the Learner's Court Show, and a special welcome to all our favorite fans on the social media platform. We'd like you to know that we see what you're doing and we love you. Keep giving us all the likes and love. Today's show is made just for you. And when I say for you, I mean exciting, interesting, explosive, daring. I am super excited myself. We have an interesting short film to showcase on today's episode and a special guest of caliber that will bear the truth out. You want to know who that is? Stick around till after the break. My name is Busola Olufilmist. See you.
These old hands are not interested in hearing anything you have to say.
You don't have the kind of art that you ought to. There are a lot of unfortunate negatives.
The smiles, capture. The happiness, capture. The union, capture. The moments, capture. Capture the times of your life at D-Long Photography. Also rent our studio space to capture these amazing moments. A shot in time saves a smile.
The Nigerian film industry is also referred to as Nollywood, a sobriquet given by a New York Times journalist in the early 2000s. Now, Nollywood, being the second largest film industry, has evolved over the years, but not without many controversies. Controversies about the name Nollywood, controversies about the creation of the film industry in Nigeria, controversies about what film should be regarded as Nollywood, controversies about what kind of filmmakers exist in the old and the new era, and much more, but just to mention a few. Now, on this table that I'm about to shake is a hot bowl of soup that is named Much Ado About Nollywood. And now this topic is in two waves. And today's episode will be discussing wave one, which is the battle or the debate between the old and new Nollywood. So sitting on this table with me is a veteran actor, a frontline filmmaker, a producer, director. Notable for his film is the award-winning Rangy Storm in the 90s. A lot of you may not know, but he is a creative head in the industry, and he's no other person but Francis Onwochei. We're very glad to have you in the studio with us, Mr. Francis.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
And on my far right is our beautiful actor, Susan Theck. You know, Susan, it's always a delight having you in the studio. Every time you're here, you add some kind of color to the show. Oh. And the combination of you two just gives me this certain joy and excitement, and I can't wait for us to devour this soup and perhaps shake this table upside down. All right, I'm going to be starting first with Mr. Francis. Let's talk about this Nollywood. First off, sir, is there really that notion called old and new Nollywood?
Thank you very much, Busola Filmist. I'm glad to be here to say a few things on Learner's Court. In the discourse on the table, new Nollywood, old Nollywood, no, totally, I say no. Because Nigeria, I think, is a peculiar place, and so we always like to create titles. In the places where film emerged from, in Europe and America, where have you ever heard
New Hollywood,
old
Hollywood. Exactly.
However, you can refer to old and new in terms of whether movement. For instance, I know that several years back in the before 1960s in Hollywood, you had something that appeared to what you could call new Hollywood. The idea was that, as opposed to the times where the studios were totally involved in filmmaking, some directors emerged who were saying we needed to take control of the entire space. Exactly. Now in Nigeria, what I have seen is that a few young chaps who of course, who've probably studied film and think they have great ideas.
Yeah.
They have desire to impact their knowledge on the environment. Think that, they can become important by now mentioning that, really, we're part of New Nollywood. So, who is the old Nollywood? Who is the new Nollywood? A lot of them, and this is unfortunate, when you ask them even about film, you don't know. Film did not just start today. So, how will you now call... Film did not even start with us, who started maybe in the 80s. What about people who were practicing filmmaking in Nigeria in the 20s? Maybe in 1926, for instance, the very first film that was made in Nigeria here, Palava. You know, it was by some British guys, and Nigerians had the opportunity of having speaking roles. After Palava, you had perhaps one of the most important film that I always make reference to. That's Sanders of the River. That was made in 1935. With that era about freedom made by Ifogali Amata, who is Fred Amata's father. Those people ended that era in the 50s. And so after that era, you now had the Olabaloguns, the Hubert Ogunde, Eddie Oboma, and all of them, Jabadu, who made films from the 60s to Wale Soyinka, who made films in the 70s and all of that. So that also closed a certain era. And then, of course, the emergence and introduction of Living in Bondage and the rest of the films that emerged up till today when we are filming. So, when you say old and new Nollywood, which one is the old? Are we going to talk about the ones in the 20s, or the ones in the 60s, or the ones in the late 80s and 90s? That's why I say no. I do not believe
that's very explosive. And, you know, Susan, I mean, I could almost refer to you as one of the new Nollywood. I don't know if I'm correct. What do you think about that notion of old and new Nollywood?
I do not believe that there is a thing like that exists, that there's an old Nollywood and a new Nollywood. Because filmmaking is a progression. Somebody else is going to have to pick it up from where somebody else left it. But in fairness to the young filmmakers, I have heard stories about young directors trying to get close to, you know, these older directors for mentorship. They get a cold shoulder. It feels the old hands start to feel like they're in competition with the young ones. And personally, I don't think it's a competition. This industry, we all own it and we belong to it.
In fairness to these young directors, what should they have done?
Whatever you are doing, just do it well. In time, you will be known. In time, you must be accepted.
Sometimes, sorry to cut you, I don't think it's necessarily that these old hands are not interested in hearing anything you have to say.
When I left the film school, I had this interview with an old, in quotes, Nollywood producer. And then the first thing that caught the producer's eye was my certificate in film. He told me, I don't know what's wrong with all you film graduates. You come in with some kind of attitude. This was me coming for interview, no attitude, no nothing. And then here you come in, you people have some attitude. So we shut the market from them and we say, let their certificate, fetch them money if it can. But then again, how many of these new directors have faced this kind of producer? So that way, they retrieve back into their shell and then create their own space. Maybe that's what happened.
Now, you must understand this, that a lot of my colleagues, for instance, a lot of people grew and became great filmmakers by training, by practice. Now, compared to some of these young chaps who have come out of film school, they come with an air of
pride.
And indeed, when you put them even to the task, you know that it is not, you're not great because you have gone to film school. There are some fantastic filmmakers who have never entered a film school. And so I will just ask you, so what are the characteristics of this certain new Nollywood? You come late to set, you waste producers' time, you feel you are sophisticated, you lie on you don't have the kind of art that you ought to. There are a lot of unfortunate negatives.
Old or new Nollywood, it really doesn't matter. But there are actually some other characteristics that have been have been noted or spotted why they have been classified as new Nollywood. For example, some people say they dwell more on their craft, their stories. They take their time in terms of technicalities and all of that, which perhaps weren't available at that time. Then plus, again, the social media, which I do not fault the old Nollywood for, basically, because it's just the time. So does that mean that the idea behind that notion of old and new Nollywood should be debunked?
As far as I'm concerned, it does not exist. It should not exist.
I mean, absolutely, it shouldn't. I have trained on, in fact, almost everywhere around the world. And so you that's coming into the industry that you're calling yourself new, I have gone through what you have gone through. So space is big for all of us to participate and flourish in this environment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis. And on that note, we're going online to continue this conversation with hashtag the Learner's Court. And let's hear your opinion about this topic. All right, we'll see you after this time. I really want to know who Banji is.
Banji is an independent filmmaker.
The smiles, capture. The happiness, capture. The union, capture. The moments, capture. Capture the times of your life at D-Long Photography. Also rent our studio space to capture these amazing moments. A shot in time saves a smile.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, it's still the Learner's Court Show. Now, the expression of imagination with filmmaking is limitless. The short film we have in the studio is one that will blow your mind away. It's titled Sector Zero and made by a young chap named Banji Oyemaja. Hello, Banji.
Hello.
It's so good to have you in the studio.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I really want to know who Banji is.
Banji is a graduate of University of Lagos Business Administration and also an independent filmmaker.
Starting with business administration and going into film, what was that journey?
Actually, film has always been what I really wanted to do, but I just had to go to school, and since I went to the commercial class, I didn't go to art class, so I just had to still do a commercial course in the university. Okay. So, but all along, like I was learning filmmaking on my own, personally, online and everything. So that was, but I just knew that after school, I was going back into the film industry.
And then you were able to pull out such film. Would I say that is your first short film, is it?
No, actually, that's my fourth short film.
Fourth? Yeah. Wow. Has Sector Zero been on any platform?
Oh, yes. Presently, I have it on Vision Max TV.
Oh, that's great. So tell us what Sector Zero really is about.
Sector Zero is just like the genre says, it's just a sci-fi movie, just fiction, just come up with something. Because I'm not really a fan of drama films, because I just like more of action, and I didn't just want drama, so just something out of the blues. Yeah, that's what it's about. So,
Banji, it's a good one that you have done. I mean, it's more like a groundbreaking short film for, let me use the word learner, because we're all still learner in this industry. So making this kind of film without, daring to take this step to make this short film is fantastic, and it's applaudable. And from the long communication, the long media, we say that you have this fantastic landscape for you to drink more from it and have explosive idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's watch this mind-blowing and captivating short film, Sector Zero.
Here we go again. Another day in hell. It didn't always used to be like this. It used to be heaven. The devils came to our planet to colonize us. They came with their high-tech machines. The government was astonished by their technology and bowed to their supremacy, forcing every citizen to subject to the devils. Citizens were forced to be marked on their heads as a sign of allegiance. Those who resisted the mark were brutally killed by the government.
Where is Michael?
I don't know.
I said, where is Michael?
I don't know. He left a very long time ago. I don't know. I don't know. Please. Thank you.
He that is down needeth fear no fall. He that is low have no pride.
He that is humble ever shall have God be his guide.
Someday, humans will get to understand that unity is all it takes to overcome. The war against the devils is far from over. Till that day, I will keep fighting.
So who said there can't be Hollywood in Nollywood? Mr. Francis, you have just watched Banji's sci-fi short movie. What do you have to say about it?
I just say congratulations, Banji. Yeah, every motion picture work elicits a lot of attention from me because it's a great thing to go on set and film. I will just say from the one time that I saw it, that I think it could be shorter, because you're making a short film, and so let it be short. But thank you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Half of the time you were watching Sector Zero, Susan, you were giggling and laughing.
Yes, I was just saying in my mind, Banji, well done, Banji, well done, Banji, well done. For the fact that Banji has ventured into making a sci-fi movie, which is not a genre that we pay much attention to here. Well done, well done to you. And
Thank you very
please
much.
keep doing movies like that.
Thank you.
Banji, you've heard it all. It's a wonderful thing you have done. Thanks for your contribution into the film industry. Mr. Francis, you just don't know how overjoyed we are to have you in the studio with us. And I also want to believe that when next we call on you, you will answer. Susan, always a delight to have you on the show.
I love being here, Busola.
Thank you very much. So, viewers, I'm sure you have learned. I have learned too. Until next week, when we'll see you again, I remain your only Busola Olufilmist. Bye for now.